Ultimately, this was an up-in-the-air decision, but it was the correct legal decision after all. We kind of went over this back when it was first being discussed, but yes, indeed, it looks like within the next couple of days, we're going to be seeing this affidavit in some redacted form. Not entirely sure how much of the actual body of the affidavit is going to be revoked, or rather, redacted, in proper terminology, of course. So, obviously, the name of the person is going to be out, a couple of other details, okay. Don't know quite for sure what's going to be redacted, or is it just going to be, here's the affidavit, and it's just basically all blacked out. It's probably going to be somewhere in the middle, okay. Like, the specific personal details is obviously what's going to be blocked, or blacked out, rather. But we can speculate on this all day, but we can get to the actual ruling itself. U.S. Judge Bruce Reinhart, after all, let's just use his name, right? On August 18th, ordered government officials to give him a redacted version, give him what he wants, of a key document that led to the approval of the search warrant the FBI agents executed on former President Donald Trump. And that it wasn't just a search warrant that they want to execute on former President Donald Trump, if you know what I mean. U.S. Magistrate Judge Bruce Reinhart, affiliated with the Epstein organization, never forget, will review the proposed redactions and decide if they are appropriate. Yeah, no, here you go. It's just, oh, why is it all written in invisible ink? Well, that's the way that we took it down. Anyways, Reinhart heard from government lawyers, which opposed the release of the version of the affidavit, and attorneys representing media outlets, which are calling for the release of the document during the hearing for the federal court on August 18th. Very interesting. Reinhart said during the hearing that there may be information in the affidavit that is so sensitive they will decide, oh, it should remain hidden from the public. That'll be incredibly interesting. Affidavits are sworn, statements commonly filed in court cases, yes, and punishable under penalty of perjury, of course. In this case, the affidavit outlines reason why Reinhart should approve a search warrant. Reinhart, who recently recused himself from a case involving Trump's lawsuit against Hillary Clinton, but found it appropriate for him to sign off on a search warrant on his premises. Fucking weird. Approved the warrant on August 5th. He also approved the unsealing of the warrant and some of the documents after the government and Trump's team aligned on supporting the release. Those documents showed the government officials believe Trump violated several laws. Yeah, and again, we went over all that stuff, I think, last Friday, so it looks like we might be having a mirror image of what went down last week with a important document being released to the public. I guess we'll just have to see. And we got some more information as to the search and what exactly the FBI are doing, or at least how far along they are on this one, because this one's going to take as long as it needs to come to conclusion, because if Trump announces here in the next little while that he's going to be running in 2024, fucking wild thing about this, I'd imagine that this investigation is going to run all the way up to and including 2024. Oh, they'll probably be able to allow Trump to announce that, yes, indeed, I'm going to be running in 2024. Nobody else can really right the ship. I think that we could have a very good job. Some people are telling me to run, even though there's this investigation going on. Some people tell me I shouldn't run. I don't like to listen to them. I'm going to be running in 2024. All of the campaigning shit will start, and then they'll just drop an indictment somewhere probably in the middle of the nomination process just to really fuck with the Republicans. That's just my darkest timeline idea, okay? Of course, we could have some deviations on there, but the first step is figuring out what exactly this affidavit is, and we're going to be knowing here in the next, probably going to be next week if he has to look over revisions. Anyways, Jay Bratt, representing the government, offered the argument laid out in the government's brief, which said the releasing the affidavit could undermine the investigation at hand. Well, if you redact the person who was making these claims, which we don't really need to know, okay, because Trump's going to take one look at this affidavit and just blast it out on Truth anyway, so whatever. Was said to involve national security matters. More on that because we actually got an inside track on some of this shit. In light of the heightened interest in this matter, we took the unusual and really unprecedented step to seeking to unseal the warrant, he said. There is another public interest. The criminal investigations are capable of going forward. Releasing a search warrant affidavit in the middle of an ongoing investigation is a compelling interest. The investigation in question in its opening stages, according to Bratt. Yeah, but you had all this dirt beginning in February, or at least that's when everything got planted in the minds of the FBI. So, interesting. Opening stages. This is going to take a long fucking time, multiple years, I would imagine. It'll be a very convenient time when this either gets wrapped up or goes to trial. We'll see what happens. Reinhart mused that he is in a bit of a catch-22 because to support the affidavit not being unsealed, there has to be a discussion of information it contains. There are things that you know and I know that the media don't know. You know, I know, everybody knows, except for the people who want to know. Bratt outlined concerns that disclosing the affidavit could assist amateur sleuths on the internet. Releasing any information can incite the mob, okay? The spurgs on 4chan, for fuck's sakes, okay? Unless they were talking specifically about Trump, I'm just saying. The government lawyer also said there'd be so much information in the document needs to be redacted that will leave very little and nothing of substance. Let the public decide on that one, because if it's a long and comprehensive affidavit, if it's multiple pages long, like lots of multiple pages, not just 3 pages double spaced on legal paper, like, there's not a lot to go on that one. But if it's going to be like a phone book's worth of testimony, questions on that one, because then that would mean that somebody has intimate details. Or you can be like some of these other documents that were just released saying that the FBI authored requests for a Trump search warrant. So the feds executing a search warrant that they wanted might have helped with the affidavit to begin with. Fucking weird coincidence on that one. Anyways, a document made public on August 18th is the first time shows that an FBI agent authored a request for a search warrant at the former President Donald Trump's resort in Florida. The document, an application for a warrant, was made by an FBI special agent. The document also shows that an agent, potentially the same one, authored the affidavit or a sworn statement that outlined the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida why it should grant the application. So this affidavit was by a Fed. Interesting. The application was made on August 5th and approved the same day by U.S. District Judge Bruce Reinhart. Interesting. Unsealing the application on August 12th. That's funny, right? Because he signed off on this a week before the search warrant was executed. Starting to see how the feds move on this one. Very interesting. Agents executed the warrant on August 8th, taking boxes of items and documents from Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. We know all this stuff. Oh, right, sorry. It was signed on Friday, executed on Monday, waited over the weekend, just mulled it over a little bit. Releasing the affidavit, on the other hand, would harm an ongoing investigation and potentially criminal conduct by Trump. No, you really don't have to release the criminal aspect of that. Anyways, it just, hey man, what did this guy know that nobody else knows? Because, hey man, we got the Justice Department who hates Trump, but if they're just coming up with fantastical claims, yeah. It's going to make you guys look awfully shaky. Reinhart on Friday ordered them to produce a redacted version of the affidavit to him by August 25th at noon. Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, we're not going to see that bad boy until the end of the month. Okay, good. Good to know. Good. I can plan to do something a little bit more interesting tomorrow. Anyways, he said he was leaning towards releasing a redacted copy through a lawyer for media outlets, calling it the release said the process will take weeks. Oh, of course it will. Of course it will. I find that the present record, the government has not met its burden of showing the entire affidavit should remain sealed. Slew of documents have been filed under seal in the case, some including the warrant itself, unsealed by Reinhart with light redactions on August 12th. Yeah, just senior special agent, the guy overseeing the investigation. Everything else was out there. Okay, because I don't really care which Fed did it. It's just the entire apparatus is fucking corrupt and unnecessary to begin with. Other documents were also unsealed. A criminal cover sheet showing U.S. Attorney Juan Gonzalez of the Southern District of Florida stating that the case did not originate from several pending matters. Did not originate from several pending matters. Oh, okay. A motion to seal the warrant and related documents and approval of the motion to seal. Yeah, all of that is just tertiary fucking nonsense, so who really cares? So yeah, man, we'll have some reading material in the next couple of weeks, I would imagine, probably beginning of September, if we're being completely honest. But this whole idea that maybe a Fed was just writing everything down in order to get a search warrant, it's not really unprecedented. And then, of course, it's going to be linking to other special sources. So, What are we ultimately going to glean from that? Not a whole lot. It's going to have hearsay in it because, of course, it was all written up by an officer, okay, which is how that shit goes. And they're going to have to redact the first little, oh, here's why I'm confident and this is why I'm able to do and execute the search warrants. That's obviously what's going to be happening in the first paragraph. We don't really need to know any of that stuff. Just all of the claims that are going to be in there. Oh, yes, Trump took nuclear documents and he was going to sell them to fucking Kim Jong-un or some dumb shit like that, whatever the fuck they're alleging. And the Orange Man had a whole bunch of construction documents because he was going to build a wall, and that's a racism. I don't fucking know what else they're going to be doing in there, but it'll be interesting to see what they have to do. But one person who's not going to be covering this when it does end up getting unsealed in some form or fashion is in fact the potato farmer himself. Yes, indeed, Brian Stelter has been fucking kicked to the curb by CNN. And yesterday, oh man, when we were doing that fuck that bitch party for Liz Cheney, I got a copyright strike on it. It wasn't a strike, it was a claim, so it's not monetized or whatever, so who really gives a fuck? I just had a fun time doing that one anyways. But it wasn't for the song that you thought it would have, because I let that play at the end for a little bit, the fuck that bitch song, like that didn't get claimed. You know what did get claimed? When I was nattering over the top of the na 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 hey 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 goodbye, that fucking song got claimed on a meme on Twitter. It's like, fucking YouTube is such hog shit, okay? And it's a perfect landing place for a man who's gonna have to fund his turtle wax budget because, oh man, I just wouldn't want to be helping him clean out his office today because he's probably just inconsolable and crying everywhere. I'd imagine though, when he probably received the notice, he probably did the sissy chest hold and it's like, Brian, your ratings are abysmal. This small YouTube channel from northern Alberta is getting better numbers than you, so you're fired. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I look forward to him and Toobin. Also been released from CNN. That news came down a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, look forward to the Spud and Tug cast coming very soon to an outlet near you. With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.